I'll stay with Jürgen because next round I just can go on with what Jürgen just said. Going to what the commissioner. So what's the plan, the strategy? We already have heard briefly by Gabriela that there is a framework for quality assurance. That there is the plan, and I just have to quote one sentence where it says the member states are the recommendation for this framework asks the member states to devise, means to develop, not later than 18th June 2011, so that's a couple of months ago, ahead, an approach aimed at improving quality assurance systems at national level. So we should develop a national approach for improving quality assurance. And when I read on the sentence, that's also the reason why all you are here. And it says, and making best use of the framework involving the social partners, regional and local authorities, and all other relevant stakeholders in accordance with national legislation and practice. So we, as a member state, so who's the member state? So Jürgen is representing the member state. My question is, what does this mean in practice for Austria? And the second question is, what kind of role could or should play VET-CERT in this whole approach, in this development of an approach? Where can we locate or situate this project?
Mm-hmm. As I said before, we are now in the phase of implementation. So that's the status we are in. And what the recommendation asks us is to tell how we are facing this process of implementation, what are the steps we are setting up, and all this. And I think in IVET, in initial vocational education and training, we are pretty well on track. In CVET, continuous vocational education and training, we are on a way in developing the cooperation, developing the structural communication between the two sectors. I think Austria is pretty well on track for all the needs of the reporting which will come. This is this is a kind of the picture I see it. What role can play VET-CERT? I think that what we are trying to do with this project is to develop a new strategy in looking at at qualification, in-service training, retraining, in the field of education, maybe beyond. But it's a new mechanism, how to establish a new mechanism. The traditional mechanism is there are different bodies, institutions who offer education, training, whatever, qualifications. And they all follow their own logic. And the individuals are going in there and out there and collect or do not collect or collect parts of it. And there is no room, no area, no framework where they can validate these things. So there are many double efforts. The straightforward path is not the rule but the exception, in truth. So there are big European interests or big European projects and strategies to counter this and to put it from the head to the feet again, so that the individuals can get what they need and everything they have learned and they will learn is well set up or can be recognized, can be put into a framework of qualifications, the famous EQF. For instance, is one instrument. We have the EC-VET, which is the current, which will be or could be the currency, for this, giving the points, whatever. And we have the quality dimension. And now bringing this bigger picture back to our needs, the situation is that if we implement into a big system, and vocational education and training in Austria is a pretty big system, with a large number of players. If we implement into this system something new, meaning strategic quality management and development, this is a certain this needs a certain, or brings with it a certain need for qualifications, new qualifications, other qualifications. And what mechanisms can you use to on the one side, take what people know and have learned, identify what they need, and organize that they get what they need and nothing more or nothing additional. And this is one of the underlying questions, and this is let's say the strategic intention we have. So maybe to see this as a model for lifelong, for this the upsetting or setting up of lifelong learning strategies and training and in-service training strategies overall, as Walter Degendorfer hinted in this direction. So I see this as a kind of a strategic development product, maybe a model for much more than just the question of quality management or the qualifications in quality management.
Thanks for this, and I think the importance, or that this could be an example, is also really important for us as being coordinator of a project with a rather specific focus. But we could broaden the focus if this works well. So that's also our intention, to know that this is supportive for more than only quality management within QIBP. So the horizon is larger. Barbara has made so many bullet points, so I'm really afraid to put the next question. Round two, Barbara. Again, I start with the quote because Michaela and Jürgen pointed out the aims of VET-CERT are two main aims: to ensure that those who are responsible for quality management in VET institutions have the required competences, number one, and to make these competences visible through a certification process. And you already pointed out in your short introduction what you are doing with VET-CERT. I'll start again with this question from another point of view. What do you think that you can contribute as an observer to the whole project, and what can we, because it's important for us, what could we learn or contribute from the experience of VET-CERT?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, VET-CERT is in the qualification business, which is a unique area as far as I'm concerned, certainly in Ireland. There's not many people know about it or work in it for that matter, and they understand other products and services, but qualifications are, I think, unique in how they're developed, how they're marketed, and how they're implemented. The notes I was referring to was the commonality between systems, and I was picking up on points because, from my experience, systems are similar, but there's also differences. But I always look at the similarities across them, and I think qualifications. The first thing from our experience in relation to developing qualifications is that they help, obviously, professionalising and upgrading systems, no matter what the system is. And we preach that message, whether we're talking about catering or whether we're talking about tourism or any other profession. So I think it's appropriate in the educational business or service as well, that qualifications and gaining qualifications is important. But I would advise in relation to, in developing qualifications, that they are considered in terms of their transferability and their mobility. Because if qualifications are too specific and too focused, they narrow the person's set of skills as opposed to broaden their skills, and they become less transferable. And in developing qualifications, I would advise and I will assist, hopefully, in relation to what, and I will challenge, which is the best, I think, contribution anybody can make in terms of as to what is required, and then what other added value can be brought into the respective qualifications. In terms of Austria, first of all, because the qualifications are destined originally for Austria, but there are certain transferable or transversal skills that can cross qualifications, and they should be identified here. Also, I'm particularly interested in the adult learning element of this, because the people involved will be adult learners, I'm assuming. And that means we're crossing different sectors, which I think is interesting, and that's something I learn from as well as hopefully contribute to. But the second element of the qualifications is their mobility across borders. And in terms of your international partners, or broader afield. I mean, the phrase goes that we'll be all changing careers in our lifetime. And in our case, maybe in and out of the education sector, industry, education, and so forth, or further, as the case may be. And I think we have to develop qualifications in the context of both national transferability and European or international mobility. And on an international mobility, people won't go from the job that they're currently in to the exact same job in another member state. They'll go to a variant of that theme. And I think the qualifications in Ireland, need to travel. We use that term between Ireland and England. Mobility, they need to travel. And we have arrangements on a quality assurance basis between Ireland and the UK. But the main thing is, does this qualification travel? Will other people make use of it and make sense of it? And they're the kind of challenges I would like to pose or bring to the project.